Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so Australia is known all over the globe as the land of opportunity, right? Every single year, hundreds of thousands of people arrive here and locals enter the workforce, all looking for that exact same thing: a good, solid career and a secure life. I mean, we're taught from day one that if you just study hard, get a secure corporate job, and put in the hours, you've got a guaranteed ticket to wealth and success. But today, we're going to look at the data, because according to our sources, that secure corporate job, it might actually be a total illusion.
The data actually presents a pretty jarring statistic. Despite working incredibly hard, nearly 95% of everyday employees in Australia will never become truly wealthy or financially free. The author of our source material calls this the 95% trap. You see, in our society, making an $80,000 or $100,000 a year salary sounds like a massive success. You get the congratulations, you update your LinkedIn, and you feel like you've completely made it. But in reality, this lifestyle is often just a golden cage. Sure, you're earning good money, but you aren't actually building freedom. So why exactly is this happening?
Well, let's dive into it. The first major reason that golden cage exists is a psychological and financial trap known as lifestyle inflation. Basically, it's the phenomenon where your expenses creep right up alongside your growing salary. Think about it. When you get that big promotion, what happens? You suddenly decide you deserve to rent a bigger place, maybe you lease a much nicer car, or you start taking more expensive holidays. Your income goes up, but your outgoings go up by the exact same margin. The result? At the end of the month, your savings account tells the exact same sad story it did when you were just an entry-level worker.
But it's not just our own spending habits holding us back. There are real systemic roadblocks here. This brings us to Section 1, the hidden enemy, the Australian tax trap.
The progressive tax system here presents a pretty harsh reality. The simple math is that as your salary increases, the percentage of tax you pay increases right along with it. Once your salary crosses that $45,000 mark, you're handing over 32.5 cents of every single dollar over that threshold straight to the government. And if you put in the grueling hours, climb that corporate ladder, and manage to earn over $135,000, well, your tax rate jumps significantly. You start giving up 37% or even 45% of those highest bracket earnings. Climbing the ladder literally means giving up massive chunks of your hardest earned money.
And the actual mechanics of how this tax is collected makes it even tougher for the 9-to-5 worker. Australia uses the PAYG, or pay-as-you-go, system. This ensures the government takes their cut up front, before the money ever even touches your personal bank account. As a standard employee, you have almost zero legal tax loopholes to reduce this burden. You've got a complete lack of control over your gross income. You're trading your prime waking hours for money, and a huge chunk of it just vanishes before you can even think about how to invest it.
Which brings us to the second massive trap in the system, Section 2, the dream killer, cost of living and housing.
Now, over the last few years, the price of rent, groceries, utilities, and transport across the country has completely skyrocketed. But the ultimate dream killer? That's property. The timeline of a standard employee's saving journey is genuinely daunting. Buying an average house in Sydney or Melbourne now hovers right around that crazy $1 million mark. If you're working a standard 9-to-5, paying those high progressive taxes, and dealing with everyday living costs, just scraping together a 20% down payment is a monumental task. I mean, it often takes 10 to 15 years of strict sacrificing just to get the keys to an average home. That is a massive volume of life lost.
And then comes a really heavy number, 30. That's the length, in years, of a standard mortgage. So the crucial point here is this: once you finally get that house and lock yourself into a 30-year mortgage, your risk tolerance completely drops to zero. You have this massive, looming monthly payment that absolutely must be met. Psychologically and financially, you become terrified to ever take a risk, start a business, or leave that 9-to-5 job. That mortgage literally locks the door of the golden cage.
This naturally leads us to the third and perhaps most critical realization of this entire explainer. Section 3, not your asset, trading your time.
The core mechanics at play here really come down to two types of earning. First up is linear income. This is where you're dedicating 8 to 9 hours of your absolute best mental and physical energy every single day to scale your employer's company. You're paid for immediate time spent. The dangerous part? The day you stop working, or get sick, or get laid off, your income instantly drops to zero. Contrasting that is leveraged income. This is passive income, generated by assets that work for you whether you're sleeping, on holiday, or sitting at a desk. And our sources make it abundantly clear: leveraged income is the only true foundation of real wealth.
Now, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed right now, the author's message is emphatically not to hand in your resignation tomorrow. Please don't do that. The sources stress that your 9 to 5 is incredibly vital right now. It pays your current bills, it keeps a roof over your head, and it provides stability. But the mindset shift is this: you absolutely must view your salary not just as survival money, but as a strategic tool to fund your escape from the trap.
To make that transition, the author outlines a clear roadmap. Let's look at Section 4, Break the Cycle, 3 Steps to Wealth. Here's the high-level overview. Step 1 is investing in cash-flowing assets. Step 2 is starting a scalable side hustle. And Step 3 is a continuous upgrade of your financial literacy. Let's break down how this builds into an actionable plan you can start using with your very next paycheck.
Step 1 is all about deployment. You have to stop leaving your hard-earned cash sitting idle in everyday bank accounts, where inflation just slowly eats away its purchasing power. You need to put that money to work. The sources suggest funneling portions of your professional income into the Australian stock market, or ASX, utilizing broad exchange-traded funds, or even exploring real estate syndicates. This is exactly how you begin converting your linear, tax-to-the-bone income into assets that generate their own cash flow over time.
Moving on to Step 2, which is arguably the most powerful way to combat that tax trap we discussed earlier. Start a scalable side hustle. Whether it's building a small business, offering freelance services, or creating digital content on the side, earning business income completely changes the rules of the game. It unlocks incredible structural advantages and tax deductions here in Australia that regular PAYG employees can simply never access. A side hustle allows you to legally reduce your tax burden, all while building an asset that you actually own and control.
And Step 3 wraps it all together. Upgrade your financial literacy. You really need to learn how money truly moves. The absolute most foundational concept to grasp here is the raw difference between what builds wealth and what drains it. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket, period. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That fancy new car you bought with your salary bump? Yeah, that's a liability. The ETF portfolio you built with your savings? That's an asset. Understanding this simple difference changes literally every financial decision you'll ever make.
To bring all these concepts together, there's a quote from the source material that perfectly summarizes our explainer today. A job can grant you a very comfortable life, but it rarely grants you true financial freedom. Look, there is absolutely no shame in an honest day's work, and a standard career can provide a wonderfully safe and comfortable existence. But we've got to be honest about its limits. If your ultimate goal is freedom, the freedom to choose exactly how you spend your time every single day, then a 9 to 5 alone simply won't get you there.
Which leaves us with a final, vital question for you. Do you want to stay in the rat race forever, accepting the high taxes, the mortgage traps, and the lifestyle inflation? Or are you ready to start using your 9 to 5 salary strategically to buy back your time? I highly encourage you to reflect on this, look at your own financial structure, and hey, maybe share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Knowledge is only power when it's applied, so use your job to fund your freedom. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some powerful new ideas for your financial future.